Hello everyone, we are Art of War.
And we believe in creating a community where people can talk about, learn, and improve their skills at Warhammer 40K.
Our channel has live stream competitive matches of 40K, played by the best players in the world.
And we focus on teaching you how to get better at Warhammer, while also emphasizing sportsmanship and engagement with our audience.
We strive to play every faction, also using a variety of lists to show off different playstyles for every faction.
We also offer a variety of other videos such as codex reviews, faction rankings, and tactics videos.
When you join our channel, you become part of our community, where we emphasize learning and positive conversation about competitive 40K.
You get early access to our videos, sub badges, emotes, as well as rewatch those Hangout and Hobby sessions.
Joining our community is a great way for you to show your support for us, so we can keep making awesome videos for you and continuously expand the bounds of competitive 40K.
All right, welcome back everybody to another Hangout and Hobby. I'm Richard Siegler, and I am joined today by a very special guest, Art of War coach, Mr. Scary, the Archon himself.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Let us know how the sound levels are, so that I'm not exploding your earlobes.
Scary tends to do that.
I tend to get way too excited, and then what happens is, anyway, I got the green screen going too, so you'll kind of get to see. I'm excited. Hobbying, chatting about the hobby, doing random stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Destroying eardrums is part of your dark rituals, though.
Power for pain, indeed.
But really cool to have Scary here. The guys, if you followed our social media, I dropped them off at the airport yesterday. They are headed off to Charity Hammer. So awesome content coming this weekend. We're gonna be streaming on the Art of War YouTube channel, one of 3 Charity Hammer streams.
Absolutely. Dixon says that I'm a little quiet this time. I guess we might have overcompensated for yesterday's stream.
All right, I just brought you up a little bit, so hopefully
there you go.
It's more evened out.
No, I'm messing with all of you. Thanks for tuning in to the Art of War. And Richard calls me a guest, but I am technically part of the Art of War team, not just a guest.
Truly, not just technically.
Just saying. I wear a little Art of War like effigy hat, the little samurai hat with a Space Marine like helmet base thing. That'd be cool. We should totally get some made, like 3D printed, so we can like go to Vegas
samurai hats.
Wearing like matching hats. That'd be great. It'd be so cool. What are you working on today?
I am working on some wonderful Adeptus Mechanicus miniatures, the Ruststalkers from the AdMech, as well as Skitarii Taraxi sterilizers. Working on my really brand new Games Workshop Orlando event list. I'm going to be trying it out in the War Room tomorrow night against Jack Harpster. Is that the Titan?
That's a Phantom Titan.
A Phantom.
This is new meta right here. 3,000 points worth of Titan. Totally can't use this in a regular 40k game. Just.
How many shooting phases would it take AdMech to go through?
One. Half of one. I'm going to say that right now. They kill it really, really fast. But I'm having a lot of fun. Anyway, so AdMech, cool. That's very meta of you. I wouldn't expect anything less.
I finally get to use it. I've actually never played AdMech at a tournament before.
Oh, nice.
Do you find it very games.
Do you find it very like Tau-ish in like a way, like a little bit of a sense of the I don't know. Do you?
AdMech shoots harder than Tau. It's more efficient than Tau. It has better mobility tricks. It just has better tricks overall. AdMech is everything, and then it also has actual combat threat. So AdMech is just better in every way. They were for pretty much 8th edition. Tau's advantages are they have extra defensive mechanics, but those defensive mechanics went up in points, and they kind of outshone by a lot of the new stuff. Like AdMech's Ignore AP 1 and 2 works in combat. And on an entire unit, not just a single model. Yep. It's you're seeing there's some significant power creep.
Yep. Well, that's one of the beautiful things of playing the game competitively, is you get to follow the competitive aspect of the game without like any remorse or like hobby lag. Oh, do you kind of miss your Tau? Because I know you played your Tau for like a really long time. You know, you did okay with them at the event you took them to, right?
I went 7-1 at ACO.
Like,
I went like
still
4-1
pretty
against Drukari with 8th edition Tau. So
Yeah, it's that's just player skill. You're
Pretty
you're
much.
just flexing at that point. You're like, look, do you even game it, bro?
I mean, the list was very much tailored for Drukari meta, and then the terrain also helped it, where there was a lot of terrain you could attack and then have awesome firing lanes downfield. So
So jealous, so jealous.
I did the best I could with the Tau list, but
Your
Admit
your
came
tile
out.
list is terrifying. Like as a Drukari player, like I read that list, I was like, I'm really happy I don't have to play this then, because it's crazy how fast all the Dark Eldar stuff dies against that list. Like just melts it. You're like, well, I don't have anything left now.
and it melts it from such a long distance. Like the missile pods, I'll just pick up 3 raiders from a distance, be like,
It's
okay,
like-
I'm good.
Is the perfect weapon. The perfect weapon against Drukari. Those damn missile pods. As I said, autocannon style weapons. Literally, nobody wanted to believe me. I said chain swords and autocannons. And apparently the chain swords thing became a meme and people didn't think I was being serious. I'm like, seriously, that's all you need. You don't need anything fancy to kill a bunch of witches. Just a bunch of attacks. That's all you need.
You'd be surprised. How many succubus do you think I killed with the crisis unit in combat?
Because they were veterans too, right?
Yeah, they're
I'm
veterans.
gonna say 6.
6. Let's see. I killed.
Most people were running like 2 or 3 succubuses, so odds are you fought quite a few of them.
Yeah. So let's see. I killed I think 4 or 5 succubi, and then Drasser once or twice in combat, and an Archon. So,
Well, that's what they get for being cocky. Saying.
but it's that mortal strat. It's 1 CP. Every model that ends in engagement
yeah,
range.
yeah.
Mortal on a 3-up. Just I couldn't care less about no escape.
You have to charge for that stuff, or do you just, or is it just like if you're in combat?
You have to end your charge move in engagement range for each model that does.
Yeah. So you basically charge in. You're like, I'm going to charge you and hammer wrath you to death, which is a great way to kill succubuses, by the way, if you're a Space Marine player with jump packs.
Well, it
Just
also gave me
saying.
extra distance too, like to help. I basically charged a bunch of stuff in there, did the crisis suits, got the succubus out of there, and then got to move stuff to create a new screen that's further up. So
Yeah, it's all about distance moving. People like underestimate how much the game is just about maneuvering, really. Like you don't really have to like you can kill stuff and whatnot, but you win the game by just moving models around.
the Tau list is
And-
pretty much that.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
mobility, scoring secondaries, and then a bit
And trying to deny people from scoring primary, right? And then if you
Yep.
can kind of do that trifecta, boom, you're golden. It's how I used to win with Drukari before Drukari was cool, right? I literally like wouldn't have anything left at the end of the game, but my opponent hadn't scored any points. Basically, is kind of how it ended up be like, and I don't have any models left, but I scored, 20 primary, and you scored 5 primary, so I win.
it was the secondaries too. Like purge herd the prey is just so efficient for Drukari.
Oh,
It's really hard to keep things surviving in there.
Well, that's a new one. Back in the day, you didn't have that.
Yeah,
one.
back
You
in the
just
day.
had to had to do your engage on all fronts. And by the way, chat, thanks for hanging out, chat. If you have any questions or, we definitely read the super chats first. So, you wanna throw us a super chat? Do that, and we'll get to your question before we get to the other questions. It's just like, money talks. Just saying.
What kind of money? What do they use as currency in
Canada? In Comra.
Comra, yeah.
You don't even want to know.
I want to know.
Oh, that's on a to know.
What's the currency there?
It would definitely not be anything that I think humans would value. I don't think they'd be currency, but probably I don't know some sort of like I don't know teeth or something. Not like an orc style, but like from different civilizations or whatever. Be like, give you 3 orc teeth. If you give me 1 Eldar femur or something, I don't know. Like,
Elder
it'd be pretty morbid. It'd be like or to be honest, it might actually be something like cutlery. Just like random trinkets from like across the universe. Like I'm really popular, so I get
I have access to forks and knives made by a squat. And they're like, "Oh, you're fancy. You've seen squats." You know? And then be like, "Well, that's worth 3 human spoons." You know, whatever.
It's not just a bunch of sharp blades being traded back and forth.
I'll give you 1 knife if you give me 1 stabby thing. Done. Deal. Oh, boy. I'm excited for Charity Hammer. It's going to be so much fun to watch everybody playing some games and stuff.
Whose team do you think is going to win? John's team or Nick's team?
Based on ETC experience, I think Nick's team would just have the leg up in pairings, to be honest.
Going with Nick. All right, John.
Yeah.
John's going to take that as a challenge. You should message him right now.
I will message him after the stream. Be like, "I don't believe in you, John." And then I'll be like,
He's
"My
going to
money
take
is
that.
on Nick."
He's going to put a chip on his shoulder and win, just because of that.
Yeah, no. Do you watch that Michael Jordan basketball series on Netflix?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I didn't end up watching it.
Okay. No spoilers or anything, but throughout like a lot of the stuff, well, not spoilers, like it's his career. Like if you don't know who Michael Jordan is, but you know, one of the sort of like recurring themes that they touch on is that every time somebody would like piss him off or like tell him he was like couldn't do something on the field or whatever, he'd like just make it a mission to like crush them. Which I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. If you're very competitive minded, like if I said, you know, if I challenged you and been like, "Tao, Richard Siegler, you don't know how to play the game," you know what I mean? Like you're just winning because you're playing with Admech right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd be like, "I'll show you, you little shit." Sorry, pardon my language. But I'll show you. And you'd be like, and then you'd literally make it your mission to like prove me wrong. Right, but that's like, you know, most of us competitors tend to like work really well in like that sort of, you know, challenging, you know, sort of like thought process, you know, where
like you can't do this. Well, hold on a minute. Let me
like hold
let
on.
me put some effort into this. I probably can.
Like, I'll show you. Like I'm pretty sure I can, because never say never, sort of thing, right?
I challenged John to go to Super Major with GSC and do as well as I did with Tao, but he has not taken
If you want
to
challenge somebody to do that, do it to Dustin Henshaw. Dustin Henshaw is
all right. Dustin, 7-1 minimum at a major, at Super Major.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
200 people plus.
He'd probably go. He'd make it into the top 8. Yeah. He's that good. He's really good. With Genes to look up, and with a couple of Tyranids, if you allow that. In your crazy.
A couple of Tyranids, just a handful of Tyranids floating around.
Just you know, just enough to have like a Neurothrope or 2, and you know, a couple of little things here or there. But he'd do it. I tell you, he's got the potential to do it. Good old Dustin Henshaw from Team Canada.
What's the strategy session today on? The strategy session today that I'm going to be doing at 4 p.m. Eastern in the War Room is going to be on how to play on GW terrain, what you should be building into your lists, and then how to effectively use those tools on the actual terrain setup. So I got it all set up ready.
Yeah, it's definitely a different setup for sure. Like all of us that are used to like Nova style terrain and like, you know, the frontline gaming style boards with like the big L's and stuff. Like this GW terrain is kind of thrown. A lot of people reacted really interestingly to it, like gut reaction style. You know, like, oh no, what are we gonna do?
It's a lot heavier than you think when you actually put it on the table and start looking at firing lanes. You're like, whoop. I am not shooting anything.
Yeah, one of the reasons I love Drukhari, because we fly around.
Hence all these Ruststalkers.
Yeah, exactly.
I need some combat.
And you're running them as veteran cohort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, so good.
I'm trying out a Metallica veteran cohort. Most
so good.
Ryza works well with the veteran cohort. Really, any of them work decently well. I think Lucius actually prefers not being the cohort.
I think Ryza is good though. Like Ryza with the was it +1 to wound or whatever they get?
Yeah, +1 to wounds and +1 to charges.
Yeah, like that combined with like
Or I do like the Metallica one that you were talking about with like the Auto 6 Advance. and
March to
stuff like
War,
that.
baby.
Yeah,
It's
like
back.
that.
I love
sort of
playing with
stuff
that
is
a
like-
couple months ago.
Oh, it's so game winning. Like we're talking about movement winning
It's
games.
absurd
like,
on this terrain. You're just
Yeah.
like, cool, I'm in this ruin. I'll go
I'm
deep
gonna
inside
get
your
you.
ruin automatically. So you
there's-
better be
there's
you
no-
better be ready.
There's no hiding away from it, basically.
No, there's no
We have a
hiding.
super chat. Kyle's super chat says, "What are you most excited for in Grey Knights?"
So many things, honestly. I'm excited to see the updated weapon profiles. The Strike Marine box leaked and basically showed that most of them have changed to become updated like all the other Space Marine weapons. I really like... Most of them seem pretty competitive. We don't know what extra rules they'll get, so we don't know if warding staves still give the +1 save in combat. We don't know if the Falchions still give +1 attack. It probably will, because they've been consistent with that, but who knows? They might get new rules. So
If anything,
I, really
I
like...
could see them going the Grey Knight route. We're talking about Grey Knights. I could see them going the Death Guard route with stuff like just adding the attacks and stuff into their profiles or whatever.
Yeah,
know,
it seems like they did. The Strike Marines are 3 attacks now.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which means they probably don't have Shock Assault, otherwise it'd be an obscene amount of attacks they're putting out. But 3 attacks in base,
Well,
really,
they're not
really
Codex. They're not Codex, right? They're Grey Knights, so they're not going to be following the Codex Astartes or whatever it is. So I could see them not having like Shock Assault for sure, and just kind of be having it built into their like profile. I'm really curious to see what they do with like Paladins and stuff.
I want the Bodyguard role. If Paladins get the Bodyguard role, that is going to be so massive for Grey Knight pressure on the board.
That would be so annoying.
One of the hardest parts about playing Grey Knights right now is their lack of board control. Basically, if you put out your really durable Paladin unit with all the buffs, it's still going to die based on the firepower that's out there right now. But if Grey Knights could instead have the Paladin unit behind terrain, hopefully they keep astraling, fingers crossed, and you can string out to a character who's standing on the objective with the Bodyguard role, that would be massive. So good.
John style with Celestine.
This is not even John style. Get out of here. I've been doing that with Farsight Enclaves for even though you can shoot the characters, but you can pass off. Get out of here. John Lennon style.
He's just the one that's been applying it and putting it into practice right now. Just saying. So he can take.
I was doing bodyguards with Blood Angels in the beginning of the edition.
I love how.
Celestine's just silly because she can string out all these Gemini. The guarantee they didn't think of that during the design team creating the models.
Because of course they have to get playtesters that are like normal human brain playtesters.
They need playtesters that play the game.
They need playtesters that go to super majors and like try and like find every advantage they can.
No, they need a professional team. Like their design team focuses on new rules, then they have a different team that just focuses on
where
the
they can hand like a book to and just be like, here's terrain, here's this. Try and make this stupid. Like try and just like make this. Stress test it, right? It's like getting a hacker like to go into your computer system and be like, try breaking into my computer system. What's that?
Yeah, how easy is it to get into this computer system? Oh, it's so easy.
Exactly. Yeah, be like, oh yeah, no, it didn't like the. Some companies actually even have like contests and stuff, like governments and stuff. They'll be like, "Hey, we've got a new system that we're testing out or whatever. $10,000 to the first person who hacks it or whatever." And they'll like, they want people to hack stuff and whatever. So anyway, so right now what I'm doing is I'm putting black on this. This seems like this Titan used to be blue and then it got reprimed black. So there's like a whole bunch of like blue sort of like still visible in some of the nooks and crannies. I'm just going over it with some like.
You're actually painting that thing?
Yeah. I wasn't joking.
Are you planning? Are you planning to use it in an Apocalypse game?
Yeah, we've got so Geargut's Mech Shop, the 3D printer orc guy. He's local to me, and every year we put on a giant Apocalypse game called The Big Game, which is actually really fun. So he brings his entire collection of orcs, a combination of like his 3D prints and like GW stuff and like everything, totals to about, I want to say, 120,000 points of orcs or something like that. in power level, we're looking at like 2,000 power level or something, or no, 5,000 power. Sink in how many orcs that is. That is a lot of freaking orcs. And it's gonna happen the last weekend of September this year. Stream, which is like a little paint stream I do before this stream, almost every day, on Twitch. And he was like, "Hey, I got you a present." I was like, "What present?" He's like, "You sent me a picture of Phantom Titan." I was like, "You son of a gun." Literally making me work and paint a whole Phantom Titan for this game. So now I own a Phantom Titan, which is cool.
Let me fully answer this Grey Knight question, because I didn't really answer it. Having just an abundance of rules. One of the biggest parts about their 8th edition codex was there's barely anything in there of substance. Their warlord trait tree was absolute trash, one of the worst in the game. They had basically one relic for a while until the Psychic Awakening came out. Even then, they're not amazing. And then their stratagems, the Psychic Awakening helped there, but I'd like them to, most of the codex ones are pretty poor. So hopefully they reinvent those ones. And I would really love for the chaplain litanies to have some way to be consistent like other chapters got.
Chaplains?
Yeah, the litanies are so powerful. Any way to make the powers actually consistently go off would be amazing. Whether that's they go off on a 2-up, you get a reroll on it, like Black Templars, whatever it is, or they have a CP to auto-pass the chant, something like that, because extra AP is massive for Grey Knights because they don't have a ton of it. And then the +6 inch range was so good.
The 6 inch range is really good with the move and shoot, or the shoot and move, or whatever.
Yeah, Edict and Praetor.
That one. There's a lot of stuff that kind of went into that sort of. It's funny because when that Psychic Awakening came out, they got some really cool stuff, and that's when the pandemic really hit, right? And so it kind of like was at the forefront for.
I was beating Nick down with Grey Knights.
Yeah, it was like a month or something, or something, and then everything just kind of like died. So we didn't really get to see it at the forefront at events, right? Like I remember running the Berry Bash, and we had I think it was a Grey Knight player that won the whole thing that year, and it was literally like the only event that we ended up having that year because of the fact that the pandemic hit and everything went into lockdown basically. And so that's how that works. But
the
now,
rules were very good. It really
very
dramatically increased the power of Grey Knights from the worst book in the game to, hey, there's some actual
one
stuff
of the
here.
To one of the more powerful ones. Yeah, they had the fight and death strat, and
that was in the codex. It's still 1 CP for their characters, which is great. But
no, the fight and death for
paladins, yeah.
So
I never actually used that. But,
as a person who loves running witches and things like that, it was really annoying. You'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna run in and try and tie them up or whatever. But even if you hit them really hard with something or character or whatever, they'd be like, I'm just gonna, still kill you.
It was great on Aberrant's Fight on Death when they had it. That completely changed that unit.
Oh, you got me started. That's like a policy thing. GW, why do you over nerf things? I'm kind of happy they didn't over nerf Adeptus Mechanicus with the recent FAQ. I'm kind of happy they kind of kept it toned down.
I'm surprised they didn't tone down Logi. I think that's the biggest abuser of defensive mechanic for the Skitarii. Ignoring AP 1 and 2 and shooting in combat on a whole unit is just amazing. I'm surprised they didn't just change it to what Sisters got, which is Valor's Heart, just reduce AP by 1. That would
make more sense.
And then make Logi very cheap, make it 15 points. Instead of as expensive it is now. That would have been a fine change.
I could see that.
They went with the offensive power, which that's fine. The offensive power was extremely strong. Still is. But with more terrain, you're not just shooting 1,000 Skitarii. Every that I played the 3 to 5 bricks of Skitarii, you just overkill everything in line of sight. You have too many guns. You don't need all of that. So the new list that I've been running don't especially on GW terrain, you don't need all that.
You need combat, right? You need tools to clear stuff out in combat. Yeah. It's always better to. I find it's always better to have a good mix. You want some combat, some shooting, some counter assault, some pressure units. If you have a good mix of stuff, you tend to be better in most different scenarios.
Gundam with a $5 super chat. Welcome back, Gundam. Hope you're doing well, my friends. Where is Chapter Master John? He is off in the amazing land of Seattle. He's in the Pacific Northwest, and he is ready for Charity Hammer. So him, Nick Nanavati, we got Brad Chester over there, Mark Perry, all of them representing the Art of War. And that Charity Hammer is going to be going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I know, Scar, you're going to be commentating some of those games?
I will be. I'll be doing live commentary 3 times throughout the course of the Charity Hammer weekend, which will be really fun. So I'll be doing Thursday night, like 11:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, going into like
Beautiful.
Friday morning, basically.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to do it like an overnight. I think that's going to be when I don't know what happens then. But then Friday I'm doing 12 to 3. That's the team event. So I'll be doing that. And I'll be shoutcasting Nick versus John. And yes, Gundam, Chapter Master John's gone for now, so you get the cheapo replacement with polymorphine right here. And then on Saturday, I've got another one from 3 to 6, I think. But yeah, it's gonna be super fun. I'm really excited about it. It's nice to see so many cool. I'm really excited for the GT. There's some really cool matchups and stuff coming up on that GT.
Definitely a lot of interesting lists in there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like there's some really fun ones that I'm like, ooh, I wonder like how this one's gonna end up or how that one's gonna end up. It's gonna be some like powerhouse sort of like games going on there.
Yeah, a lot of the top players were invited to perform, so
Yeah,
they are going to be doing wonderful work for charity. And if you want to check out the brackets, they are on charityhammer.com. And then the lists themselves, if you want to see them, go over to 40K Stat Center, click on Charity Hammer, and you'll be able to read all the GT lists.
there is also like a bracket guesser thing where they're
Yeah,
doing, like
challenge bracket.
they're doing like a
can fill
charity
out.
raffle basically. Yeah, you can fill out like who you think is going to win in what order, and the person who gets the most right is going to be winning a Beast Snagger box, I believe, which is going to be pretty cool.
No, Gundam fell into the crypto hole. Oh, he's just barely clawing his way back out now, but we're glad to see you back on the channel. Speaking of which, we're playing Custodes tomorrow. I know you're a big fan of the Custodes. I am bringing back the Acheron Terminators, and I'm going to Vexilla teleport homer them right into Jack's army. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't played with them in a while, but they're by far my favorite Custodes model.
The crypto, the who's?
The Acheron Terminators.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Forgeable
the
Terminators.
forgeable ones, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
I
they're
loaded
pretty
them
cool.
all up with Adrathic Destructors for that
Nice.
sweet AP3 flat 3.
Well, you need to kill Admech with AP3, so it's worth.
And flat 3 is just great
Yeah,
in the meta.
of course. Especially even against Dreadnoughts and stuff, or chickens and things like that too. What is it? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I like the Venatari. They're my
Venatari are great too. Their strat to increase their number of... That's why I went with that. Adrathic Destructors on the Achelons is because I'm going to use the strat on the Venatari instead of buffing their Stormbolters. In that case, why not take the good... It gives me a different profile for Custodes too. And I'm going to use
Custodes, you can score lots of points.
Yeah, you just sit there
but,
on objectives
you
and
have
durable
to find
stuff.
a way to like stop your opponent from scoring points. You have seems to
But,
be fine. There we go. Seems like we're back. It might just be my internet. So if you just can't hear me or something.
But yeah, like I was saying with Custodes and your point about them having to be able to contest your opponent's objectives, the bike captain is just heroic.
Mooses will get you. He's list. No, what's his face? Big guy with the rerolls.
Trajan.
Trajan, there you go. It's like, no Trajan. Oh my god, new tech.
I still like Trajan because he has Tanglefoot access, and then he also makes a strat free. If you're going to run Terminators, you got to run Trajan to make the teleport homer strat free.
Yeah.
But he's also a Tanglefoot. He can just stand out an objective, be durable, and then Tanglefoot things away like the bike captain can't. Definitely, 2 bike captains very interesting. I wish you could do a double captain commander. That would be really nice if they could do more captain commanders because they have several very good traits on there.
They're excellent. Anyway, we got some more super chats over here to take a look at.
We got a $3 super chat from Mr. Cloud Mode. How to make 7-man Warlock Skyrunner Conclaves work. This is an Eldari question. Scary, break it down for us.
7-man. I'm assuming you're just, I
Tight
know
on
7-man. It seems either like, if you're gonna go for it, you might as well go full bore for it. The thing about Skyrunner Conclave is it's durable. Yes, you can beef it up. Make this like big 1,000-point unit, and then make it like really hard to kill. But it just lacks AP, and so it might go around doing like volume and stuff. But I find that it kills more stuff in shooting than it does in like close combat a lot of the time. And you need it to do both. So in the current sort of like meta, Eldar are just a little underwhelming, to be honest. If you want to use them, but you're kind of investing a lot into trying to make them work just from the beginning. You're like going for like a far steer, and then you're going for this, and you're going for the strat, and maybe you're running like your, both of your detachment abilities to kind of like buff them up so they can pass their psychic powers and all this stuff, and it's not what it used to be. So what I would recommend is take a foot conclave, to be honest, because then you get access to double the range of the power strat, which I think is actually a very undervalued use for a strat.
Yeah, Nick used to run it for a while.
You can jink, like, and of course, if you're running like a Falcon or Wave Serpent to kind of keep your Dark Reapers alive or whatever, you can actually just put them inside there as well. Another cool aspect of the Foot Conclave is even if you have like a unit of 2, they know 2 powers, even though they can only cost 1. So they technically know 4 powers. You can actually have Jink and Quicken on the 1 unit instead of having to take like 2 different Warlocks, basically. And you can pick and choose which one you need in the moment, which is kind of neat as well.
Yeah, like you were saying though, the lack of AP is huge. Like, yeah, Jinx is cool, but there's so much 2-up armor in the game right now. So many good armor saves. They just don't do enough, and they lost access to the Vigilist strat, where they could just go into combat and then fall
bounce in and out.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was
like the Harlequin style thing. That was
Mm-hmm.
like kind of, because you could like bounce them around and use them, something like that.
Yeah,
Like, of course,
that's what brought them back a lot.
Correct. Now, if you're playing like narratively and you can still use the Vigilist stuff, then yeah, they're still really good. But having to commit them to the table, as soon as you kind of commit them to an area, they're just gonna, the game is so deadly right now, they'll usually just die. Just get nuked. So, and if you keep them back, you're not using them to their full potential. You've got like a giant 8 to 1,000-point unit that's literally just sitting there, like doing nothing.
The other thing is that the Sisters matchup is brutal. The 5-up auto denies the 4-up deny strat, and Black Templars are also popular. Dark Angels have some very good psychic defense.
Yep.
It's, if you don't get up things like Protect and Fortune, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yep. Yeah, just 1/3 of all powers like not going off against Sisters.
Yeah, I played against it with Grey Knights and I was like, this is silly.
It's so silly. As soon as I read that when I was doing the book review, I was like, oh my goodness, what did you do?
Well, it's funny because they
However-
reduced the Graia strat down to 18-inch range, but the Sisters, they get to keep all their special stuff.
Of course, there's
It's
this
like,
is a battle. They get all the cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like, sure.
It was the one thing Graia
No.
did.
Yeah, that's true. But whatever. Now you've got Lucius. Lucius and
We got like every other Forge World besides Graia has play.
yeah, because that's the only one. Then again, who knows? You could always kind of, I guess, if depending on how prevalent Thousand Suns become or whatever, you never know if you need to stop like a mega like psychic power or something to go off.
Well, based on the
Gun-
preview, they have a way to now just make powers undeniable with
Yeah,
their like
yeah.
Kabbalistic focus or whatever it's called.
But I didn't know. Wasn't that a crusade thing? I don't know.
Was it? I thought it was just you could use
I
it.
don't know. I thought that was. I don't know if that was like a normal thing or is it a crusade thing. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, if
They
it's a
did kinda,
crusade
like-
thing, it's terrible then.
They mentioned a crusade thing in there, but I don't know if it was that or it was something else. Because they have sort of been previewing both like the match play stuff and some of like the crusade and narrative stuff when they've been doing these previews.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if like every once in a while they kind of want to preview some of the other stuff that they can do. Because Crusade's really fun. It's like a nice way of playing the game. Let's see, what's this? There we go. Boom. Siegs says, Lyle, we need you and Scary to do the prediction bracket on stream. We need neutral predictions, not John and Nick's biased opinions.
All right, let's go through the whole bracket. Watch this. Well, thanks for that super chat, Lyle. Let me answer Gundam's first, and then we'll do that too. Gundam, thanks again for the $5 super chat. GW needs to update their rules. It should be my prerogative if I want from Golden Light 1,200 points at Terminators. Oh, from Golden Light they come. Custodes have such cool names on their strats. They have the best names by far.
When I was testing a Custodes guard list for the WTC for Team Canada, and learning the names of all the strats and the actual older Custodes strats was a really fun part of the whole process. Like I wrote them all out and kind of went through a whole process